Oh, it's you. People on YouTube. So, what's with the people who are watching? People who are watching on the VOD. What's up with that? Why don't you come watch the stream? Why, you got jobs? Come on, come hang out. We got a voice chat. What are you doing? There's a link to the voice chat in the description. Well, there's a link to the Discord, and then you click on the voice chat.
Yes.
Come on, you got anything better to do? What are you doing watching a VOD? In any case, today's episodes are Enterprise, Season 7, which is... Not Season 7, God, I wish. Season 2, Episode 7 is the 7th, which I have to assume is deliberate. Episode 7, the 7th. And then Episode 8 is the Communicator, and that's pretty good. And then Episode 9 is Singularity, which is very entertaining. And it's got a read alert, and it's got a chair. And it's got some... I don't remember what Hoshi made. Some food. Some salmon. I don't know. Oh, and some questionable medical ethics. But that's okay. It's only questionable medical ethics because the dude is being affected by a singularity. Which isn't, I don't think, how singularities work, but it's okay.
Ooh, we get in a couple of weeks' time, looking to the future, we get ceasefire.
Ceasefire? How many weeks is that?
2.
2 weeks to ceasefire. With Jeffrey Combs.
Yes, lots of Jeffrey Combs.
A lot of Jeffrey. And then what's going on tomorrow? Tomorrow's Voyager. Threshold. Threshold is tomorrow. So if you're watching on the VOD, you should come watch the live Threshold and you can join the voice chat and talk about Threshold. It's so good. There's lizards. Well, they're salamanders. It's close enough. They're salamanders, but they also have, like, axolotl, like, head things. Head fluff.
Lizard officers.
Yes. Reptilian ops they can work in.
I read a visitation ops, so it's not exactly far out there.
Exactly. But for now, just the 7th, so everyone queue up. We're starting in 2 minutes. Since it is no longer on Amazon, I'm not going to stream it. I'm just going to use the disc version. And my version is 42 minutes, 52 seconds. 42:52. So hopefully that roughly lines up.
57. Close enough.
Close enough.
On Netflix,
hopefully.
that is. Well, the maximum it can get out is 5 seconds.
I suppose.
Unless somehow it gets out initially and then speeds up later on to catch up.
Yes, just the first, like... The first 3 scenes of the episode are just at 2 times speed.
That would be funny.
Maybe I should make a video... This is only tangentially related. A video that's just playing every episode of a Star Trek season at the same time. I'm curious if I would get copyrighted for that. If I just played every episode.
Almost certainly, but it would be curious as to what it does.
And see relative lengths of the cold opens, I guess. Other than that, you're not getting much info.
Unless your data, of course.
Unless your data. Unfortunately, I am not. We're still a ways away from cybernetic implants.
That is true.
In time. Maybe eventually I can replace these stupid meat limbs. For now, though, we're just gonna press play on Star Trek in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, play. Stupid meat organs.
Yeah, they're not useful, are they?
What the heck is up with our stupid calcium teeth? What's up with those? They just wear down and you get too old that you need to replace them.
Yeah.
Just replace them straight away. Give me metal teeth. Something that'll last forever.
To pose for doing out the toad. Oh, getting a transmission in toad.
Menos. At what speed? At what speed is it 3 days away? Warp 5?
Assuming
Warp
that
2?
the general top speed of the Enterprise.
It's called a Warp 5 engine.
Starfleet wouldn't be sharing the actual top speed that it goes.
The top speed is like Warp 4.8.
Yes.
They go to Warp 5 once. Maybe twice.
Yeah. Just realized there's an episode named after the text that you see at the start of the intro. The title. It says Horizon.
Okay.
I suppose that's only tangentially named like it because it's just the horizon of Earth in it. But
Yes. I want to say ECS Horizon. Star Trek Horizon. No, not the fan film. I don't want the fan film. I want the starship. What's the fan film? Is it good? Should we watch it? It's an hour 42 minutes. Oh, I saw an Enterprise uniform. It's an Enterprise era fan film. Oh, geez, with almost 15 million views. Jesus.
I've got faith.
No, we're not doing that anymore.
I can't.
Okay, yes, it
I
is
can't,
ECS
like,
Horizon.
My throat is too
yeah,
soon.
it's the Charger ship. Travis
Well,
Mac
go
versus
fix
one,
your
to be
throat.
precise.
Toast? Wait, how much toast do you have? You only have the one slice. What are you offering her?
Yeah, giving her a bite, apparently.
That's his bite. Is that... That looks like wheat bread. I'm not big on wheat bread for toast.
I like all grain, like the all grain with seeds and stuff. Seedful bread, I think they call it. I like it.
What? For toast or in general? Because, I mean, that sure, good for, like, sandwiches and stuff.
For toast, yeah.
Okay.
Especially for French toast.
That French toast isn't toast.
French toast isn't toast.
Correct.
What is it then?
It's... I don't know. But it's not toast.
Why won't she tell him?
It's a mystery.
I have a.
Can we trust
I have a
Paul?
really good recipe. I have a really good recipe for French toast. If anybody
Toast,
would like.
eggs, milk.
Oh, you're being very
It's not that
quite,
complicated. What does your recipe involve that's not just bread, milk, eggs, and whatever, like, butter toppings you want?
Well, I'll explain.
Well, we're waiting.
3 large eggs, and then I believe I have to check. It's either half a cup or a cup of half and half, but sometimes I use whole cream. And then 2 tablespoons of honey and a little bit of vanilla extract, and you beat that until it's fully incorporated.
Okay.
And
Who's the
then
CEO of your
you put
recipe?
you put that in the fridge overnight, so
Okay.
it sets overnight. That's the custard. You leave the bread out overnight, so the bread dries out. And you want to use a bread that has like a low fat content, so it'll take up a lot of the custard. Then you soak it 30 seconds on each side, the bread. You want like 3/4 inch thick slices, roughly. And you fry that for about 1 to 2 minutes on each side in like 4 tablespoons of butter. You put it on a baking tray, and it goes in the oven for like 5 to 8 minutes, so that it like cooks inside internally a little bit, but it's still like creamy inside.
So back to the episode. That's a really long recipe. Back to the episode. Did they get a call from Admiral Forrest, or is just the Vulcans telling them what to do?
They've just had the call from Admiral Forrest in the afternoon, apparently.
I couldn't hear it over. Oh, it's Porthos.
They didn't actually have the call. It just...
off screen.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I need to download subtitle files. I don't have them. They might be on the disc, but I don't know where they are on the disc. The subtitle track that came with it is just a timestamp, and that's not helpful.
That's a bit odd.
I assume there are actual subtitles on the disc, but they didn't... I don't know where they are. Something got weird in conversion, I guess.
So she had a big career change. She was a space cop. She was a Vulcan space cop, and then she became a scientist. That seems like a weird jump, right?
Well, she went from being a scientist to being second in command of a starship.
Well, she's technically a science officer.
She's still second in command.
They don't really have an executive officer. They just have like an order of succession. But, yeah, why not? I don't know. Ask them.
That is the
I guess there's just not that many people on the ship. I didn't feel it was necessary.
She's not the executive officer by title. She's executive officer by default. Because she's the highest ranking person on the ship.
It's not by default. They have an actual hierarchy. Because Trip is third. Well, second, which is confusing because he's third in command. But he's the second in command.
Well, that's why they call him Trip. Because he's third.
Okay.
Strictly incorrect. How dare you?
He's third. He's Charles Tucker the Third.
I don't understand why in this episode they went with the idea that T'Pol is like traumatized by her previous job of looking for a guy. Like they try to make us think she murdered another cop, but she didn't. So why is that like a suppressed memory? I don't really get this episode.
There's an interesting whatever
they play it like she did something horrible that she needed to suppress. But then the reveal at the end is she didn't.
Emotions.
But she didn't do anything.
She gave into her emotions, and let the guy go.
How is that a traumatic experience that needs to be suppressed at all costs?
For a Vulcan, that might be a traumatic experience.
We're going to apprehend. We're gonna get him for reasons.
He's a bad dude. Let him.
No, he's an honest trader. All he does, he transports spent casings of like deuterium injectors or whatever.
And weapons.
He didn't do nothing. You can't prove it. They're going to beam down and he's going to go, "Are you a cop? You have to tell me if you are." And they're going to say yes. And he's going to go, "Well, go away."
Oh, is this the Trip talking to the Vulcan episode?
Which Vulcan? He talks to a lot of them.
The one where Admiral Forrest sends the Vulcan there and gives him the results of the pool tournament.
No. That sounds vaguely familiar. I don't think that's this. I think that was Breaking the Ice.
Right.
C-Trip is
T'Pol
third.
Also, yeah, and T'Pol is also exceptionally muted today in this episode.
Muted?
Calmer, less vocal.
It's a guest star. Enterprise Manos actor. Who's this dude? Bruce Davison. Okay, who's Bruce Davison? I don't think he's in any other Star Trek episodes.
He's been in a lot of stuff though. I can remember his voice too, distinctly from this episode.
Yeah.
Trying to remember what else he's in. What else is he in?
X-Men as Senator Kelly.
X-Men. Yeah, he was the one that they transformed into a fish person. Yep. That's what I remember him from. I thought
Is he in anything
that
else
was him, but then I was
good?
like, no, that was like a too far apart. But then I realized, wait a second, no, they're both like in the 2000s. So
He was in La La Land, but he was uncredited.
he was in La La Land.
He
I took a
was
girl on a
Mia's
date to see La La
father.
Land.
General
Those
Hospital.
were the good old
bit.
days when you could take people on dates in person at movie theaters.
Well, I mean, you can. You just have to be vaccinated.
Well, I am and boosted.
Then you can go on a date at a movie theater. What's the problem? He was in
Interesting
Star
little
Trek
fetish to do.
Voyager as Jareth. Who's Jareth? In the episode Remember? I don't remember. What? Who the heck is Jareth? Lieutenant
It's funny,
Torres starts having
actually,
vivid dreams about another life and love on another planet. Okay, that episode.
Facebook sent me a reminder, like, hey, remember this? This was however many years ago or whatever.
I thought Travis was
And I was
supposed to stay on
using
the show, but fair enough.
Before the dark
French bread.
times. Is that a Tellarite? That's a Klingon? Wait, that Klingon is face horns. Oh, and okay, I saw he's not on screen and I don't know the name of his species. But do you guys remember the foreman from the first Indie episode? He like tries to enslave all the crew. That guy's another guy was wearing his rubber mask here. I guess it could be the same guy. But he was here. How did he get here? No ship leaves the Expanse.
Oh, come on, T'Pol.
Come on, you gotta be able to hear him with those big ol' ears. No way, he's still there. He's just crouching.
That was an interesting strategy. Archer.
He just shot at a cop. You can't play the honest spent casing trader if you shot a cop. What are you doing, man? Just
nice
leave.
one, Travis.
Okay, we got him. We showed up and we got him. Just leave. He does sound so unique.
Oh, that's a lovely shot of the Enterprise.
But why are they in orbit of a gas giant?
Because that's where they're supposed to be in orbit of.
But they just...
That's where
But
they
they're
were
not
told
on
to
a
go,
gas
and then they
giant.
took the shuttle pod to another planet.
Okay. Bangers and mash. Sounds like good logic to me. He's the captain now.
Look at me. Look at me. I am the captain now.
Or what does Trip have? He's got a sandwich. And which he's going to eat with a fork? And not you can't require inoculations among the crew. There's no precedent for this.
I mean, in the military there is, but yeah.
There's a lot of precedent for it.
I'm just meaning specifically in the military.
Yeah, there's a lot of precedent. Bloody George Washington forced vaccinations in his regiment or battalion, whatever they had.
Yeah.
What? George Washington?
Yeah. George Washington. 6'7", weighs a ton. Whalebone teeth. What about George?
I'm finding this inoculation source. I'm reading about it.
Yeah, I don't remember
Was
the
this with
specifics there.
with cowpox?
This was during the
They used
Revolution.
cowpox to vaccinate against chickenpox.
I don't know. Sometime during the Revolution, there was an outbreak. And it was like, nope, you're all getting vaccinated right now. Screw this. No, they didn't have like syringes to inject people with mRNA.
An inoculation. Right. It was they just exposed them to cowpox that makes you resistant to chicken or smallpox, right? So
same idea though.
Yeah.
If anything, that's worse. You're forcing people to get a disease.
Yeah, I think this is the episode about the pool one. Or the pool discussion.
Okay. I have no memory of this in this episode. Oh, poor Trip. You wanted the captain's benefits of the dining room and everything. You get to deal with the responsibilities too.
Yeah, it's definitely the pool one.
Okay.
About to, I think they're about to say, are you sure he doesn't know what Captain Archer looks like? Something like that.
Okay, hang on. So, in this episode, we saw that guy with the Zindi Foreman rubber mask. And they're not allowed to leave because the snow is acid. And then in the Zindi episode, we get the Zindi Foreman again. And they're not allowed to leave because the snow is acid.
They didn't say, is there some prisoners that are holding cell? They just said, is there somewhere secure to put him?
Well, yeah, why would they have a holding cell? It's a bar.
Yeah, there should be somewhere out of the way.
Nah, just the dining room. It's fine. T'Pol's not holding a gun in that flashback. He does sound so familiar. Dude, you shot at a cop. Good actor, though. Yes, you are. If he's not a smuggler, then that would mean that T'Pol was the bad guy here, and they don't want to have an episode where the main character is the bad guy. Therefore, Manos is lying. Spent warp injector casings. What does that mean? What's a spent casing for a warp core?
It must contain. It must degrade over time and contain the components necessary to inject into the core.
Hologram? They can't have holograms. Those weren't invented yet. They were invented in Deep Space Nine. At least that's what I read on the internet. Same sort of style thing they have on TNG. Though more, sort of interlaced and blue. So, how's the weather? Ugh. Look at T'Pol here. She's a sheep, blindly trusting her government. That this man's a villain. Well, you say that, Archer. I'm pretty sure he gets shot. I distinctly remember him being shot. Now, this is where the episode loses me. I don't know what's up with T'Pol here. I don't get why she's freaking out so much.
I don't see how putting those on your feet will protect you much from the acid.
She only needs a few seconds, really. T'Pol, ooh, I like that acid effect, though. That's some good smoke. So if they could just do this, why don't they just run out to their own shuttle pod? They could just leave. You can get new shoes. Run to the shuttle, take your shoes off, and just leave. Those look like injector.
I mean, she's not looking beneath the top of them. They could be hiding underneath, but still.
He could have put those there 30 years ago. They're just hanging out.
I know.
Oh, you probably shouldn't put your hand on those. They are radioactive. Stop touching them. Well, now she looked under a little. T'Pol, don't put your face next to that. It's radioactive. Stop it.
Yep, this is the pool scene.
Why is he pretending to be Captain Archer?
Because he can't know that Captain Archer's on the mission with T'Pol.
Sorry, Captain Archer is in the bathroom.
For 4 days?
Sorry, Captain Archer is, he had a surgery.
I mean, all humans do look alike, so...
They do. Healthy living. Wow. What an important message.
Yes.
and the Vulcans having no concept of competitive sports. Or do they?
I feel like there's a Vulcan sport, but I don't remember. It probably involves a stick.
I mean, they were very good at baseball in DS9, but that was just to be fit, wasn't it?
Let me try to find out. Star Trek Vulcan sports. Recreational activities. Okay.
I think we're on the same page.
They're just Calto and chess that I see.
Which is
Hello, Mark.
logic and mind stuff.
Welcome to the streams.
Apparently, there's a Star Trek 2009 comic where Spock says they don't have sports.
Yeah, that makes sense. You know, comics aren't alpha, aren't canon.
Dawson? You can't point a gun at people. Actually, T'Pol does that a lot with prisoners, doesn't she? No gun safety on this ship. She points a gun at just some dude from the 60s. I guess it was the 90s, 2000s. I don't know. When was Carpenter Street? 2005?
Probably.
Why doesn't she remember Jawson? What? Why would you kill Jawson, T'Pol? I don't... So did T'Pol murder someone?
That's the suggestion at the moment.
Yeah.
Now what actually happened? Did Jawson pull a gun on her? Or...
I think they just. Well, the impression I get at the moment is that they implanted the suggestion into her, but made her sort of forget it. Maybe. Because, as you said, it'd be a bit odd for the main character to do something so bad.
It'd also be
Oh,
odd for the
yeah.
characters to stand outside in the acid snow.
No, it's not the snow that's acid it.
Yeah,
It's
they're
just
getting rid of the
the
snow
stuff.
with an acid. Yeah. But acid snow, though. It's a nice jacket.
Mm.
Has T'Pol killed anyone on this show yet?
Yeah, she shot at some
She
people.
must have.
It just
The
seems
question is-
weird that she would be so freaked out that she required like mental suppression over Jocelyn.
Yeah.
Unless it was just straight up a murder.
I mean, this might have been the first person she killed because this was pre-Enterprise assignment, so.
And now she just points guns at prisoners willy-nilly. There's a pattern of behavior here. T'Pol's a murderer.
Maybe that's
She
why
kills
was
once and
assigned
she'll kill
Enterprise.
again.
And that's probably why she was assigned to Enterprise, to get rid of her, because she was killing too many people quite often. Mhm.
What do you think his intentions were if he pulled out a gun?
Mm.
He was going to heat up a nearby rock, get some warmth. Does the I have so many questions, but my current one is, does the Vulcan government not know about the suppression? And if they do, why did they send her to get Manos?
Because it's her job, and she's closest, I suppose.
So because they're stupid. Send literally anyone else. Wait, where'd Travis go? Oh, there he is. Travis, help! Do something!
Travis can only drive the spaceship.
Travis, drive the show forward. Do something. Man, Manos is committed to this bit. Okay, now Manos runs. They have to chase him, and T'Pol shoots him. And Travis does nothing. Travis, why are you here?
Everyone's just flying away.
So the snow is okay now? Everything's fine?
Yeah, apparently it's been long enough.
So instead of their heartfelt conversation, they could have just grabbed him and left.
I don't know.
All I see when I see those injector casings is just giant blueberries.
Yes.
Kind of elongated blueberries.
Are you sure, T'Pol? I don't feel like you, scanned it. You could look. T'Pol. I don't know if we can trust T'Pol. I don't know if she's good at her job. Why don't we have just another Vulcan? It's completely impossible. Funny. What is
I'm
it?
not laughing.
Is it Joe Piscopo? Is it The Voyage Home? Is it a historical record? And Archer just swore on my Star Trek. Can't do that. Jesus. Waving that gun around right past Travis's head. You're scaring me, Archer. So do you guys like beef jerky? That sounds
Sadly,
like a
not
no.
readily available in Denmark.
Why not?
Guess there just isn't a demand for it.
Do you guys not have cows?
We do have cows, but we prefer them to be minced.
What you do is you cut a cow into thin strips and you dry it.
Okay. I'll have a conversation with the Danish meat industry tomorrow then.
Thank you. Oh, that worked. That has big God, you guys remember the episode where they go to the Wild West? And they have that gunfight? Is that a no? Do you guys not remember that?
Remember what, sorry?
Not vividly.
Where they go to the Wild West, it's a planet in the expanse that's like the people are stuck in the 1700s. They have a
Vaguely.
gunfight, and T'Pol's taken hostage, and Reed just stuns T'Pol. Stun T'Pol, then stun the person holding her hostage. It works great. And here, we just... No, what are you doing, Archer? Just shoot him. You're like 5 seconds. Just shoot him. Oh, he actually stopped. I didn't think that was going to work. You don't need to kill him. You have a stun setting.
Yeah.
Does Archer want to shoot him? Archer, just shoot him. Archer, you have a gun. And faced out in the
Nice
acid.
done. Ooh, green goo.
What is it? What? If one of your weapons had struck it, what? What would happen to Paul?
It would have melted him, probably.
Why are you gesturing to the comm? He can't see you. We don't have Zoom on this starship. Yeah, having seen this episode again now, I still don't really understand it. I don't get why it's necessary to suppress the memory. If the guy pulled a gun, then the guy pulled a gun. Why? The only reason to suppress the memory would...
It doesn't make it less traumatic.
But I'm
I
Paul's
suppose
no
she was
stranger to
trained.
shooting people.
Maybe this was the first time she actually had to shoot someone.
She was a fairly high-ranking cop.
She's just doing her training and then did this and then transferred, I think. She hadn't actually shot anyone before.
And how come she doesn't need therapy after she continues shooting people in this show?
Because she's dealt with it now.
Or is that what the drugs are for? The, what's, Trellium. The Trellium. Now, the next episode I do get. The next episode makes perfect sense, which is The Communicator. The Communicator. Episode 8, everyone queue up for The Communicator. It's all about... I mean, what do you think it's about? It's about a communicator.
More specifically, leaving the communicator somewhere it shouldn't ought to be left.
Yes. Good job, Reed.
The Prime Directive prequel.
The entirety of Enterprise is about a prequel to the Prime Directive.
Yeah, why it exists.
If the Prime Directive existed in this episode, everybody here would have lost their jobs.
Well, you say that, but then Kirk did basically the same thing and didn't lose his job.
Picard also, I mean, all Star Trek shows have broke the Prime Directive.
A lot. All right, get ready to
Basically,
press
Star-
play in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, play.
Basically, Star Trek is about why you need to have a Prime Directive, but also why a Prime Directive doesn't make sense.
Yes. It's like there's nuance in the world.
The flexible
my mind
directive.
Yes.
Architecture? What about the weaponry, Reed?
And it'll be a last now that you left your communicator.
Yeah. Actually, is it his? I think it might actually be his last. I don't think he ever goes anywhere again. Also, how convenient that the only cosmetic modification they need is some forehead rubber. Wow.
As always the case in Star Trek.
Yeah. I always, when I see like those forehead nose ridges and stuff, I always imagined what the evolutionary advantage would be of those.
It's a little extra brain space, the way it curves out like that. They have an extra lobe there.
That's why the Klingons are so smart.
Well, I assume the Klingon ridges are for headbutting.
That is true. And they have like double organ failures and stuff. Like, yeah, extra organs when they fail.
Except the spine. They don't have an extra one of those.
That was
That is
more
true.
than an eye roll from Archer there. That was a full head roll.
Reed, you're so fired.
Your compensation package will go from nothing to nothing.
Wait, is it nothing? Do they have money yet? Do they still have money?
They go,
What's the
they
deal?
go in a bar in an episode, I don't know if they do exchange currency there. I don't know. I don't actually know.
I'm pretty sure they have money in the Kelvin timeline. I think
This
they do
isn't
have
the
money
Kelvin
in this
timeline.
This is the Kelvin timeline is identical at this point.
True. So this is a JJ verse TV show.
I mean, to be perfectly honest, there is no one timeline in Star Trek. The amount of time travel they do.
Oh, man, are you saying that Star Trek isn't always a one consistently handcrafted thing, and there's actually there's inconsistencies in it within the canon?
Inconsistencies in my Star Trek. That's
Yes.
impossible.
Well, you could argue that Enterprise completely changes the course of history in Star Trek, and therefore any inconsistencies are just a result of the change in continuity from the time travel.
I think most of the inconsistencies are a result of it's just a TV show. Don't worry about it.
Yes, that is very true. I'm just meaning for people who
Yes. Oh, that guest star's last name was Guinan.
do
I didn't know that was a real name.
There was a guy called Cockrum.
Yes, Dennis Cockrum.
Funny. That's funny.
This feels like a kid who's lost something.
Yeah.
Is that under the seat?
Have they called his mother yet?
His
They-
mom
they
barely
have-
even
they have-
knows he works here.
Well, yeah, they have actually true. They have a horrible relationship, him and his parents. So she wouldn't be able to find it.
God, and Reed's always the one who's like, oh, there's not enough protocol here. People aren't focused enough on their work. God, Reed. So this society is like, what, World War II era?
Was it?
Maybe earlier, World War I?
I mean, their clothes don't look World War II era like.
But they have aircraft. They have regular guns.
They must be World War II era. I don't know. I'm skimming a bit.
But they have no
and
spacecraft.
I mean,
The uniforms
they're
look
unlikely to
kind of
have a
nasty,
world
like-
system. If they had a world government, then you're not really polluting it. You're just giving them technology that isn't even that harmful. It's just a communicator to help them communicate with each other.
It wouldn't even help communicate with each other because they're paired.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
They try to
were,
reverse engineer it. It wouldn't show up under Bluetooth devices.
Bluetooth only works like 5 meters there.
What?
Anyway.
Oh, why would they
Well,
take the shuttle
no,
down when
like 30
they know the
minutes.
transporter's perfectly safe?
Yes, very true.
They just want to make sure that
Especially-
some farmer somewhere can see a shuttle coming down.
Yeah.
They can say, oh, we saw aliens in the field. And like, no,
Like-
no, but you didn't see aliens.
I understand the kind
Yeah,
of
they
reasoning
checked them back on the sofa. Not there,
where
unfortunately.
I understand why would they, for the most part, will use the shuttles because they don't know how safe the transporters are now. But this is kind of a scenario where you don't want where the shuttles should be seen.
It could happen to any of us, he says angrily.
Yeah.
It's okay, Reed. Anyone could make that mistake.
So obviously they are pre-world. Well, it depends upon when they get radar, because they aren't detecting the shuttlecraft.
They have electricity.
Yeah.
That's anything from 1800s onwards.
They have
So
patches on their arms. That implies 1900s. Not that
It was
patches are like
supposed to be
technology,
not-
but just style.
Though
As opposed to be
technically,
Nazi-like.
technology isn't actually a set indicator. Just because we built technology at a certain point doesn't mean anything. Because the Chinese were hundreds
Soma.
of years behind everyone, and for what for
These
centuries.
are just Americans with forehead bumps.
True.
They follow exactly the path of Earth evolutionary history.
Yes, that is a Star Trek thing.
You didn't answer the question. This guy also looks familiar. Who's this?
What does that display
How-
even say?
Yeah, how do you read that screen?
They read it very easily, actually.
Yeah.
Oh, it's the military. What did they do here that they have the military suspicious of them already? Well, I guess left the communicator behind.
They're out of towners.
Oh, that alien barkeep is Dennis Cockrum.
Hmm.
That's him. We found
What-
him.
What else has he been in anything else?
I'm scrolling. Nothing. I mean, he's been in lots of stuff, but
Nothing Star Trek.
in 2 episodes of Firefly, he was Other Man.
What a role.
And now that I think about it, yeah, I think I might actually recognize him from Firefly. Dennis Cockrum, Firefly. Let me look that up specifically. Oh! It's an actually important role. He's one of the 2x2 Hands of Blue guys.
I haven't seen Firefly. So.
Oh, you have to.
He's a primary antagonist in Firefly,
Okay.
which I recommend. It's a really good show.
It's on Disney Plus. I'll get around to it, I guess.
Immediately assaulting the military.
So, never go wrong.
What else are they gonna do? Just get arrested?
Especially
I
when
mean,
they're
you can
Okay,
talk it
look,
out
he has a
first.
Glock. Well, it's not a Glock, but he has a World War era handgun.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah, it's World War
nothing
One
could
or World War
possibly
Two.
go
We know that
wrong.
for sure.
Nothing could possibly go wrong assaulting people in greenish brownish uniform with red and black.
Maybe it's
Patches on
Cold
the
War,
body.
actually, because they think these guys are spies for an enemy state, but they're not actually at war. So this
The
is Space
faction's called the
America,
Alliance,
and they think
definitely.
these guys are space Russians.
But they call the other people the Alliance, and Alliance is generally like a blue-colored thing, which is good in Star Trek.
Well, I mean, the Alliance in Star Trek is the mirror universe evil fascist regime.
That is true, but the Federation Alliance was the good guys. So, no.
Why
It's a
would you
gun.
take the gun down with you? You're not going to use it. As if you use it, they all instantly know and see new technology.
Why would they bring any technology with them? Isn't it bad enough?
They
Bring
do
like
that a
one
lot in Star
communicator.
Trek. They bring down their sci-fi guns to a primitive planet and expect nothing to go wrong when they have the guns with them.
Oh, yeah, spies existed prior to the Cold War, but it feels very like they think Russia is screwing with them, but they're not actually fighting.
Yeah. It
Yes.
I mean, they do look kind of like Nazis with World War II era tech, but it's what this political situation is Cold War coded. Maybe it doesn't matter.
Maybe it's just a TV show.
There was
It's
yes,
fun-
true. There was
it's-
essentially
but
a mini Cold War in 1933 onwards.
Until they became very hot. That is true.
Yes.
But still fun to talk about.
And why does why does the person on the ship always talk to the communicator after the person has been captured?
I don't know. How come They never give Archer time to respond. What if he's eating some soup and he needs to put it down? T'Pol to Archer. Please respond. No, come on, give him a chance.
Yeah. If we reacted to the same in real life, hey, get the police involved. They're not picking up in 7 minutes. Within 2 minutes. Like also when they call each other just across the galaxy.
On a related note, when you knock on someone's door, how long is appropriate to wait for them to answer it? Because I swear some people will knock, and if I'm not there in like 2 seconds, they just leave.
It depends on how busy you are. If you're working as a courier, you don't have a choice.
And it depends on what you're doing there. If they're a salesperson, the chance of getting an individual sale at one door is probably low. So going to the next one doesn't really matter. But if you're on the social visit, it's probably.
I'll say, what if Archer was in the bathroom and he didn't want to answer his communicator?
I'd say a minute or two if you call out. If you're not, sorry, no, say a minute or two if you don't call out. If you do, then 5 minutes.
What if they beamed them up, except they don't know where they are?
I don't think the transporters are that good yet.
They can't penetrate the concrete.
They can't detect exactly where they are. That was what they're doing on the ship.
Otherwise, they would have just beamed up the communicator itself.
Mm-hmm.
How come nobody texts in Star Trek? Whenever people do text, but it's like twice, and it's when you're trying to be covert.
Mm.
Like, I remember Picard, for some reason, types out a message to Worf. Or to Riker. One or the other.
Yeah. I think it's to Worf.
That guy has a Tommy gun with a... What is that? What's the silver thing?
I assume it's a silencer.
Who puts a silencer on a Tommy gun? What's the point?
It looks cool.
There's some Star Trek episodes with a similar idea as well.
God, good job to Paul.
Yeah.
You caused all kinds of problems in the last episode. You're causing all kinds of problems in this episode. What's up with you today, T'Pol? A starship? What is the range? I guess the range is as far as the plot demands it is.
Planet-wide, I guess.
Oh, they have computers. He said a computing instrument. Nice.
Shake his hand.
Okay, so that general is Francis Guinan. That's Guinan. What else does he do? Star Wars: The Old Republic.
Oh, nice.
Huh. Who do you play in that?
Keeper, Hedar Sung, Bennett, ...
Oh, it's okay. I thought you said Knights of the Old Republic.
No, just the Old Republic.
The bad
Well,
one.
maybe Knights of the Old Republic. I'm still scrolling. He had a couple roles in Voyager. Anything else? Oh, he was in Beyond Belief Fact or Fiction. Maybe with Jonathan Frakes. I don't know about that specific episode, but
Jonathan
Oh,
Frakes-
yeah, with
did he only
Jonathan
do one
Frakes.
episode? Jonathan Frakes was the lead for the whole thing, wasn't he? Or was there a
no,
different
season 1
presenter?
was a different guy.
Ah,
So I didn't watch season 1 because it wasn't Jonathan Frakes.
Which is that on a streaming service? The
Is
show?
it? Beyond Belief, Fact or Fiction, is it? I don't know.
Okay. I was just wondering.
I didn't think it was really that good, though.
oh, they've just pulled the
Oh,
rubber off.
they have hair on their faces.
I wouldn't really call that surgically. Oh, this is bad.
It's red. My God.
Super soldiers. Back.
It's on Prime if you're American.
Say again about America?
That the
He said America
Beyond
is
Belief
Prime.
Beyond
America
Belief,
was-
Beyond Belief, Fact or Fiction, the show with Jonathan Frakes is on Prime if you're American.
Oh. I remember watching that as a kid. Like when it was new.
Well, then you should remember our general here, because this general was on Beyond Belief, Fact or Fiction in 2 episodes.
Interesting. There was, I don't know if it was Beyond Belief or if it was 1,000 Ways to Die, maybe, that I had seen this one about a guy that I think he was trying to shoot his wife. Like, he drove by the house, his wife was in the yard, he took a shot at her and it missed, but it hit a tree. And like years later, he was cutting down the tree with a chainsaw and the chainsaw hit the bullet and dislodged
yeah.
it and it hit him in the chest.
Yeah, that is funny.
And dude brought it on himself, so.
Right.
Mm.
Right.
I think Mythbusters
Oh, yeah, I
tested a
forgot they
similar thing
took
with a
this.
chainsaw.
I forgot they got the Suliban cell ship.
Yeah.
It's a
this is
very
the part
interesting prop design. Or set
Look at
design.
this continuity.
where he cloaks his hand. And then they're like, wait, we don't want to keep keying out his hand, so just give him a glove.
Well, I mean, you'd want a glove. You want to see where your hand is. I guess technically you don't need to
Yes,
see it
but-
to know where it is, but
For practical
Still.
purposes. For practical purposes, they're just like,
yes.
we don't want to have to.
It's a lot of work.
Ooh. The
Oh.
boys at Taco Bell hooked me up with some good chicken wings.
It's weird to
haven't
me
tried
that
the chicken
Taco Bell
wings at
now
Taco
sells
Bell-
chicken wings.
It's good. They're good.
Okay.
Yeah, but you
I-
also thought
I
the
do-
chicken was the best thing ever.
That-
And it was
that is-
okay.
That is
When the chicken is good, it's
Simple,
good.
but
When
quite
it's
nice.
bad, it's okay. You know what I'm saying? Like sometimes like you get it fresh and it's a big one, it's nice and juicy. And sometimes it's kind of mediocre. But these are good.
Okay, so what they have here, they don't want Phlox to get too close to him
yeah. They're
because
doing it very simplistic.
yeah,
They are
he's just
trying to
got
save as
like
much of the
green or
budget as
blue wrapped
possible.
around his arm, and they have a clean shot of the sickbay at the same angle with nobody in it.
Yeah.
And now we're just not showing his arm. How would you guys like to have a limb permanently cloaked?
No way.
Hell yeah.
Not particularly. I mean,
What could you do with
Imagine
that?
all the things you could do. You could be
You
awesome
can't see it
pickpocket.
though.
for some people that wouldn't change anything.
You
see it
could
or not.
if you
That's
take
quite
someone
cool.
to the movie theater, you can steal their popcorn and they won't know it.
They can still see the popcorn moving.
No, it would be inside of your hand, and since your hand is cloaked, as long as you fully encapsulate the popcorn, it shouldn't be invisible as
No,
well.
that's not the way it works, really.
That's
I
the way
wouldn't
it
have
works
thought.
in Star Trek.
Yes, and as we all know, Star Trek is hard sci-fi.
The people listen. The people.
That's
The
always
people.
been so.
The people inside of a cloaked ship aren't cloaked. The ship is cloaked. Therefore, if you wrap the popcorn with your hand, the popcorn will disappear.
But I mean,
The
you're
logic
going to
is
be
sound
sitting next to the
in
person.
universe.
They're going to see you open your mouth and
They-
hear the popcorn chewing,
Yes.
and they're going to notice their own popcorn is
they would
disappearing.
they would see
No.
the carton. It would the popcorn
That's-
would be rustled around, and some of it would then not be there.
That's when you start gaslighting them. No, don't actually do that.
It's funny when they rip prosthetics off it that easily, whatever. It makes you think, hey, it'll just rip your prosthetics off just as easily.
Didn't they tell this guy that they were aliens? And he's like, nah, bullshit.
Not yet.
Not yet.
They were
Soon.
thinking about it.
My God, there's Xenos on our planet. Xeno Russians. Yeah, are these guys supposed to be American or Russian? Because they're one or the other.
I'm gonna say Russian because it's more comfortable.
Iron is a toxic element? Oh God, that's gotta be
Probably,
such a
yeah.
hassle for industry.
Iron is the most common element, like in the fucking galaxy.
Whoa, whoa, whoa,
Yeah.
whoa, whoa. Are you swearing on my Star Trek stream?
Sorry, it's the most common element in the entire galaxy.
That's also not true, but it's fine.
Well, it's one of the most common elements because it's the final phase of large stars.
It's
That's
the
as-
final
that's as
stage
far
of
as they can-
nuclear fusion
Quite important
in
for
a main sequence
industrial,
star, to be specific.
and I imagine
Everything
those
after that is
guns are made
formed
of
in
iron.
supernovas.
Yeah.
So these guys' guns look iron based. Is it only iron if they is it only poisonous if they ingest it? Can they hold iron?
You can hold lead. It's not gonna hurt you.
I mean, I probably
Well,
wouldn't want
aluminum-
to.
Aluminum is toxic to us, really, and we handle it all the time. But that's because it forms an oxide layer that's inert, like instantaneously when it's exposed to oxygen. So
So what you're saying is
You
these
know.
guys' guns are safe because they're rusty.
well, maybe they don't uptake the iron through the skin. Maybe they're finished. They're like blued. Well, they're blued. They're definitely blued. So it's iron oxide, low layer on it.
Now, perhaps you can answer this question. What is the point of a suppressor on their Tommy gun?
What do you mean? What
I
is the
don't
point of a
know.
suppressor on a Tommy gun? Make
What's
it
the
quiet.
point of a suppressor on a Tommy gun?
Makes it quiet. Quieter.
Why would you want it to be quiet?
Well, so you don't personally have to wear hearing protection, but so a Tommy gun, right? It's 45 ACP. It's already subsonic. So putting a suppressor on it is going to make it pretty quiet. The majority of the sound is going to be from the action of the gun itself. So or a large amount of it. But subsonic rounds suppress really well. So
So they're not saying they're aliens at this point, but they are saying they're mutant. Well, not mutants, genetically modified.
Yes.
mutant
That's saying that's Uniform,
soldiers.
basically.
They're GMOs. They're genetically modified officers.
Let's say that's Suliban, though, basically.
Yes. God, get some original material, Archer. You can't just steal the Suliban's thing.
They didn't give me a fork at Taco Bell. What am I going to do? How am I supposed to eat my nachos?
Who eats nachos with a fork?
Well, when they're covered in all sorts of toppings, it's kind of hard to eat it
Do
otherwise.
you guys not own
You-
forks?
You take that risk for the betterment of mankind.
I was actually thinking of going to Taco Bell today. I haven't been there in a long time.
Try the wings. You have to get them on the app, and you can only order them after 2 p.m.
Well, it'll be after 2 p.m. by the time the stream's over.
There you go.
Yeah, what's the time over there in American land?
It is currently 1:16 p.m. on the West Coast, 4:16 on the East Coast.
Jesus Christ.
And I think what Aleutian Islands +8 GMT +8. So
What do you mean,
-8,
Jesus
sorry.
Christ, to 4 p.m.? What's up with that?
I mean, it's 10:15 in Denmark. I've come home from work, and this is going to be my final thing.
I'm on the other side of the planet,
go to
man. It's
bed.
a different time.
Of course you are. It's just yes.
Travis thinking
East-
of his head.
Eastern time zone elitist here. Eastern time zone, best time zone.
Central European time, best time.
Pacific Standard Time, best time?
Did you know that he was going to say that in the episode, Robo, or just
Wait,
that?
what did he
just
say?
He said he might want to steal some popcorn.
I see.
Any Mountain or Central Time people here?
No, nobody lives in the mountains.
Yeah, I've never met a Mountain Time person. How are they?
I don't know any.
That was a happy accident.
I mean, you're significantly more likely to meet people on the West Coast or East Coast because that's where people live.
Yes.
I'm aware.
I don't think I know
People in
anybody who's
Texas.
from a mountain time zone.
Well, like outside of Denver, there isn't probably a whole lot of big population centers in the mountain time zone.
Like 3/4 of the US is just corn. There's nobody there, it's just corn.
I lived in Iowa for you. I can concur.
I'd be willing to bet that there's like a third of the US is just dirt, maybe more.
That's a good point, Reed. Just because humans
I'd like to
find it a tired excuse doesn't mean they will.
I'd like to point out that my grandfather on my mother's side used that to escape a German prisoner of war camp, and then
Which trick
made his
was
way
it?
back. He was sick. They took him to the infirmary, and when they weren't watching him, he escaped out of the infirmary.
Now, you said German prisoner of war camp, but are you implying that he was German and a prisoner of war, or he was
No,
in a
he
German
was-
prison?
As we've established, I'm Italian. He was an Italian partisan, meaning he was working with the Americans against Mussolini. And during the German withdrawal through Italy, during Operation Chokehold, he was captured and taken to a prisoner of war camp.
Okay.
He was one of the people you fought with in the one of those sniper elite games.
He
Why,
escaped the
why-
prisoner of war camp and crossed back into Italy via the Alps.
So he's Hannibal.
Well, he
I
didn't
mean,
have an
Italy was
elephant.
still an Axis power. I don't know if that's where you want to go.
Oh,
Italy
suddenly-
switched sides. No, Italy switched sides. After they overthrew Mussolini, Italy switched. The partisans won. So
Okay.
partway through the war, towards the end, they switched.
They just went, no, we're the good guys now.
Well, they usually do switch to the winning side. You know.
In other words, you saw which way the wind was blowing, and you switched sides.
Mm-hmm.
Seemed like
Yeah.
a good idea at the time.
But my grandmother was not a partisan. She was part of Mussolini's party. So it's like my grandfather and grandmother were on opposite sides of the war.
That how does that work? Feels kind of awkward.
Well, I think Italy.
I don't know, would you report
moved
your
on-
spouse for plotting a revolution?
Italy moved on really quickly, I think, and like by the time they met, that was just all like
Okay. They met post-war.
Right.
Okay, if they met pre or during the war, that would have been rather awkward.
Wow, dear, it seems
Well-
like you're going to chess club very often. You must be really into chess.
My great grandfather, my grandmother's side, my mother's side, he used to come to the United States and work in the mines, and sometimes he would bring his family with him. And one time, while they were here, my grandmother was born, so she was actually an American citizen because she was born here. And then they like promptly moved back to Italy, and she grew up in Italy. But during
Okay,
the
so
war, she was
In the show, we just got the bit where they said maybe we should tell them we're aliens. And then they said, nah, we'll just die.
Yeah.
Now we got that.
Yeah. So she worked in an airplane factory during the war, and she got scooped up by the Italian Gestapo and interrogated because they thought she was a spy because she was an American citizen. But they quickly figured out that she definitely wasn't a spy.
Too unintelligent for it.
Wouldn't the Italian Gestapo be called the Gestapo?
Gestapo.
She had her Mussolini fan club card on her person, so they're like, okay, you're cool.
That seems like the kind of thing that all members of the opposition should
What
carry
kind
with
of
them.
rope is that?
It's
Wouldn't
a
they have?
short one.
It just looks very it looks more like tubing than rope.
Gonna hang him.
Those aren't even
Is it
Tommy
a
guns, they're
hanging
more
or is it
they're
a
like
firing
ARs
squad?
with a jumper underneath it.
Let me see what they are. I'll take a close look and I'll identify what it's made from. If someone has a screen grab, it'd be even better. Unless I was in the kitchen.
I was about to ask, wait, why did they decloak? Oh, they didn't mean to. Okay. Weapons are a secondary system? Okay, yep, it's a hang-in.
Yes.
You wouldn't want to shoot them because you don't want to damage the internal organs. You want to look at those.
Yes.
Personally,
What are
What?
these things?
They look
They're-
very like X-wing like.
they're
Those look very
airplanes, but
advanced.
they have weird energy.
Yeah, those look very advanced for a supposed World War II era. Yeah.
Maybe they're just regular planes, but they just put giant LEDs on the end.
The sounds aren't those of jets or anything akin to that either, though.
It's very pew pew like sounds.
People are still arguing about how the cloak works.
So-
It works very well. Thanks for asking.
Those things on the muzzles aren't strictly suppressors.
Did they just make it look fancy?
Yeah, they just made it look fancy. It's just a muzzle device at that point.
I mean, I'm with Archer here. They shouldn't kill Reed. Kill one of them and
Yeah.
keep the other alive. It doesn't matter who, really. But it's good. It's good to have comparisons.
I'm not getting a good look at the gun itself. It kind of reminds me of an MP5, but then it's got a beta mag on it.
It has a magazine that's like angled 45 degrees forward.
It's a beta
A drum.
magazine.
Pull the lever.
Okay, this is very something they didn't say.
So
how they
that's
got
how
here.
the cloak works.
But the Cinnabon cloak is specifically the cloak on the ship is specifically a closed system.
Okay,
But
so
the cloak in the hand is not. It's just the
here's
hand
what
is
I think the
cloaked.
cloak does.
This inches in.
If a piece of the ship is cloaked, if a piece of metal cloaked, if you're looking at that point, just anything behind it
Is also
isn't.
cloaked.
But then to what range? Like, why isn't the wall of the
Yeah.
ship invisible?
To the other side of the cloak field is where is the range. So those to me look like some type of AK pattern because of the triangle stock, or maybe a Galil, but I'm still not getting a good picture of it. Ooh, that was a good picture. If we can screen grab that when he dropped it on top of the barrel.
I feel like well, maybe it would have been better if they just said, all right, we found the crew, beam them up, here are their coordinates.
I mean, they know that humans can be beamed at this point.
Yeah.
They didn't.
They don't want to risk more contamination. So instead,
Oh,
invisible
so
ship.
a phaser fight with a cloaked starship landing in their courtyard. That's better.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Well,
Yeah, because that
This
is
guy's
it's
just
so
like-
much better.
yeah. I mean,
Just
if
like,
they
well,
beamed
we
them up,
lost the war.
they would have come in and they would have just seen that they've been gone. They would have thought they just escaped, or that the general's crazy. Like,
Yeah, wait till
I'm
they're
not-
alone to beam them up.
I'm not sure. I think for some reason they can't beam. I don't know. It doesn't make any real sense.
they beamed Archer up in the first episode, so they know that if they have
No,
to.
I mean for here, at least inside the compound. But that here
And
they were able
maybe-
to fly in. So I don't know. It is silly. You're right.
Did Reed pickpocket that from Archer just to screw with him?
Possibly. But we had a fun shootout, so doesn't
We
matter.
contaminated a culture. We did it. A blue giant cluster. Archer, you want to take like a day off? You were literally at a gallows with a rope around your neck. The cloaking device did fail.
But it did fail.
Did they just not tell him?
You still have. Yeah, thank you, Paul.
We did do damage. And now they're going to respond to that with nuclear weapons.
They don't have nuclear weapons yet.
Nuclear
Are you
weapons
sure?
and nuclear vessels.
Yeah, they said quite specifically they haven't conquered the atom.
Ah. Maybe that just means they don't have
But they have-
fusion.
Like special anti-gravity planes.
There's not really all that much to conquer when you're just making a nuclear bomb. You just jam two pieces of uranium together and it works.
It's not really
You have
much
to
left
you have to enrich
conquer.
the uranium. Like uranium
Enriching
as
uranium
it's
is
dug
just
up.
spinning it. It's not that complicated. You just make it
It
spin.
is more complicated than that.
Someone literally made it in their garage. I don't know what happened to that guy. Someone was making a nuclear reactor in the garage. I don't remember. Were they arrested?
Oh,
What happened
yeah.
to them?
I think they were.
Oh, you mean
arrested.
in real life?
Yes.
Yeah, in real life. Someone made a nuclear reactor in the garage. Which
He's
feels
got a
highly
little
illegal.
hole in his hand.
What?
Oh yeah.
Bad green screening, Doc.
What's his theme? I definitely
Oh.
prefer it with the.
Ohio ban sparks mass panic as homemade nuclear reactor is found in his garage, prompting evacuation of 40 homes.
When was that?
2019.
Huh.
Apparently, fusion reactors are legal. Fission are not.
Fission is like splitting, isn't it?
Not that I
Yeah,
know what.
and fission is way more dangerous.
Fission is insanely dangerous to be used.
Fusion, the
is
worst thing
not.
that happens is it just turns off.
Yes.
That's like, that is
Oh yeah.
across the board entirely incorrect. Fusion reactors are incredibly dangerous, and they produce.
They're not dangerous in
really
the
hazardous-
slightest. They're not dangerous in the slightest. There is no
You don't
danger
know.
to a
You
fusion
don't know what you're
reactor.
saying. You
I
don't know
do.
what you're saying.
There is literally zero danger to a fusion reactor. The only danger is if the particle. There isn't
I
danger
guess the
at all.
facility could be damaged if there's a containment problem, but it's not gonna
Yeah.
like melt down. It just stops.
I think
What's
you're
the
thinking
next
of Star
episode?
Trek fusion.
No,
But not
in
real
real
life
life
fusion.
fusion, there is no danger whatsoever.
Okay.
Because
okay.
if
Okay,
containment is
Robo.
breached,
Please describe
Yeah.
what you believe
Yes.
the danger of a fusion reactor is.
I will show you that the fuel used for fusion reactors in and of itself is extremely radioactive and hazardous. It's not magical. It's not magical Star Trek fuel. It's not magical Star Trek fuel.
It's not hazardous in that way that you think. It's such a small thing.
You
The-
can't
I'll show you.
detonate a fusion
I'll show
reactor.
you.
The waste from a fusion reactor is so little that you could literally flush it straight into the ocean. It would make no difference. And the
I'll send you.
the matter used
I'll send you
trigger it,
sources.
the matter used to trigger it is also not dangerous because it's less dangerous than uranium. It's considerably less dangerous than uranium, and we can easily contain it properly.
I'm not saying that fusion is. I'm not saying that fission isn't less dangerous than fusion. I'm saying that fusion reactors are not safe. Like, it's just a thing. It's a campfire. You can just put it out.
There's literally no danger
it
to fusion
has-
reactors.
No, there is. There is. A fusion reactor
Even
is
in the
just a
worst case,
controlled- A fusion reactor is just a controlled fusion bomb. Like, it's a
No, it's
bomb.
not.
It's a fusion bomb going off very, very slowly.
But if it was to explode, it wouldn't explode because it's not possible. As soon as it breaches containment, it cools down way too much to have any effect. The instant containment is breached, there is no longer enough heat for the reaction and it just fizzles out. That is the point of a fusion reactor.
A fusion bomb uses a fission bomb
As a match,
To
as
force-
a detonator, yes.
detonation.
To force helium-3 together. Helium-3 is extremely...
Fusion reactors don't
extremely
have
hazardous.
fission bombs inside of them.
Yeah.
Internet fight.
No, but they're achieving fusion anyway, because they're using magnetic constrictor fields to
They're
force it
achieving
together to
fusion,
reach
but with
those-
very small amounts of hydrogen at a time.
A fusion bomb would be designed to have as big an explosion as possible, and it's not sustaining a reaction, it is instantaneously expelling that energy. A containment breach in a fusion reactor wouldn't
I say that it was a-
instantaneously expel
it-
energy.
Didn't I say it's a fusion reaction happening very, very slowly? As opposed to a bomb, which happens all at once.
Yeah, what does that mean?
Which
It's
is what
happening
you would
slowly.
infer.
What does that mean? It's happening slowly. It means it's not the
that's
energy.
same way-
It's
that's the
there's
same
I'm
not
going to
way-
start the
physically
countdown for the
isn't-
next episode,
Yes.
Singularity.
There is physically not the energy, if in a breach, to have any impact on anything.
Here we go. Accident potential.
There is zero. There's literally zero.
I'm
accident potential.
reading it. I'm reading it.
Reading what?
Have a read.
I'm
and
reading
you'll see
the,
there is
the
zero.
accidental potential of fusion reactors.
You'll read it and you'll find there is zero.
Thank you. I'm reading it.
30 seconds, everyone be queued up for Singularity. Singularity. With the read alert. It's going to be so good.
It's to the point that it is safer than even than solar and wind power. In fact, even fission is safer than solar and wind power. To say that as well.
Well,
do
fission
look
is
for
safer per
solar
watch
power.
than wind.
Yes.
It can
Let's press
explode,
play
it
in
can
5,
explode, but it's not
4,
going to be a meltdown.
2, 1, play.
Yes, and
And it's not going to be a
the
meltdown
explosion
like,
is not
like
going to hurt anyone.
It can't explode, it can't melt down, it just doesn't have the
Oh.
energy.
Everybody just had a sudden nap attack.
Yes.
Just a nice nap. I could
Hydrogen
use a
itself
nap,
is
actually. I
flammable.
stayed up way too late
Let's
last
see.
night. Should take a nap. You guys want to come over, have a nap, a group nap?
They were all quaked out.
I don't know.
And suppose anyone out and about. She's like a data in this episode.
Yep. We're slowly getting closer to actual helpful fusion reactors.
Yes.
I've always loved those classic European maps.
It's very fancy.
Mm.
Oh, there's a
look, the waste
chart. Yes.
the waste is still very radioactive. It's just
Robo,
its half-life
remember,
is-
I said you could
I'm-
literally flush the waste into the ocean and it would make no difference.
well, that's because you're diluting it into an ocean. But the
Yes,
waste is still
especially.
very radioactive. It's just that its half-life is much shorter than fission waste, but it's still very radioactive. It's just it only
Yeah.
takes like 500 years to
Yes.
dissipate.
It's
as
still very
opposed to
radioactive,
thousands
but
of years.
it's so little a problem that you can literally flush it into the ocean and it would make no difference. So there is no
Well, you can
there's
do
no
that.
danger to it.
You can do that with fission waste, and the British have done it with fission waste. They put
Yeah.
a bunch of contaminated. They put a bunch of contaminated fission waste into the ocean after the Windscale fire nuclear disaster, which you weren't around
Anyway,
for. Neither was I.
what I was going to say is if you look at the charts of like fusion reactor development versus funding, there were a few scenarios that were laid out in like the 60s when they started, which is like, oh, if we get a ton of funding, we can be done by X year. If we get like worst case scenario, we might be done by like 2060. And then our funding is below their worst case scenario. So maybe we should, give them any money at
the
all.
worst thing right now, though, is Germany, due to political pressure, is actively reducing the number of fission reactors they have, despite them being the safest method of power generation.
Yeah. the
I
Germans are
agree that fission is relatively safe. I'm sorry, fusion is relatively fission is relatively safe with proper precautions, and it's probably the best thing we have at the moment.
It's the
until we
safest
get
energy source
fusion
per
up and
watt
running.
that we have, but when it fails spectacularly.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
it's like a
everything's
plane.
got a
There's
compromise.
statistically a very low chance of anything going wrong.
Yeah,
but
when it does go wrong, you lose
it goes
400
very
people.
wrong.
I don't think anybody died with the Fukushima reactor.
Oh yeah, they did. Oh yeah, they did. And plus, the people who went in to work on it all got irradiated,
Yeah.
and they took volunteers who were older because they were like, "Well, we don't have much."
Fukushima
Left,
Daiichi
anyways.
nuclear disaster casualties. One
Was
confirmed
that the
from
one where they had to
radiation.
send someone
One
in?
death from radiation. One.
But so okay, that happened during a tsunami. So you're like,
That's not something that you would prepare for when you're building.
Reactors
this
1,
thing.
2, and 3 experienced full meltdown,
Okay.
and one person died.
Oh,
but
this
we
is
don't
the
know
episode where
about
they
all the
go
people who
crazy
went
about
in to
everything.
work
Is this
in there
Read
yet, you know
Alert?
what I'm saying? Yeah, this is Read Alert.
Well, I'm not saying nobody else was irradiated, but only one person died.
Like the computers that they have here.
That's a waste farm.
LCDs, yeah.
They're
I
chunky.
want to know about the people who may have died since the
Wikipedia says 6 people with cancer leukemia.
This goes horribly wrong.
apparently 2,200 other people died, but it's unclear from what I'm looking at how many of those were just from the massive earthquake and tsunami and people having buildings fall on them.
That kills people.
So I'm saying, like, it's hard to tell, like, what to attribute the deaths to what actual incident, the tsunami or the
Well, it'd
the
be pretty
explosion.
clear if someone had a building fall on them. You can't really count that as a radiation death.
No.
Focusing on a single thing to Paul. Are you sure that's the advice you want to give for this episode? You fool.
Yes, not a good idea for this episode.
What have you done?
This is the one where he rewrites the introduction over and over again.
Yeah.
Yes.
And Tucker focuses on the chair. Hoshi focuses on her food. Reed focuses on Reed.
Is read alert
I love
on
you,
the red
video.
alert?
It's probably deliberate, yes.
How come we... Well, no, we do see Chef. Oh, what is that?
Ooh, that was Japanese, I think.
Yes.
Yes. Wait, but what is it, though? What did she say the name it is?
My dinner tonight will be chicken enchilada.
It feels weird to me that a space-age doctor is using a mortar and pestle.
He just likes to be old-fashioned with some
He
things.
does.
I mean, he has animals with him everywhere, so he is kind of not that old-fashioned.
Oh.
This is the one where Phlox was gonna vivisect
No. He's only going to try to.
Mayweather.
He's going to be stopped. It's fine. Who would volunteer to eat fish from the Fukushima Bay that year? I wouldn't. I don't like fish.
Well, I think like entire
the
villages
Fukushima
just
fish is quite. I don't know, whatever. It was a fruity fish or something. I don't remember what it's called.
entire
think I've only
villages just disappeared during the tsunami. Like they just vanished into the sea.
Fukushima Bay.
Yeah.
Yeah. It would be odd.
So people just are gone. So what's
Corellian
more
plague.
terrifying is, are the fish irradiated or have they been feeding on human corpses?
Let's not think about it.
Can we watch Space?
Can you?
Nothing's
can you-
happening
we should
yet,
watch
though. The
Popular
episode hasn't
Speech.
started. We just get...
What we do
This is
here.
what you wanted
We
to
talk
watch.
about
You wanted to
they're
listen
performing-
to the screwdriver.
They're performing dentistry on the dentist chair.
This is what we do with episodes. We don't talk about the episode. We talk about extraneous stuff.
That
Doesn't make sense. I know.
I know.
Is this the chair from Nemesis? Or is the chair from Nemesis show up in the 4th season of Enterprise?
Why can't Paul just move somewhere
I
else?
don't know. She is. She is going to.
Geez, just that sound gives me stress of thinking.
There
about
she
the
goes.
dentist.
Bye to Paul.
When's the last time you had any work done?
I don't know, a year and a half ago.
1983.
Well, things have come
Can't you just-
along.
They have target discriminators, apparently. And they have to keep them aligned to not hit their own warp nacelle.
You ever seen the video of the guy explaining how a Tomahawk missile works?
Does it work very well?
In a sense, it uses inertial guidance, but the video is hilarious. The guy explaining it, it's fantastic. I'll find it and I'll link it.
Why isn't the plating always polarized when we find an unfamiliar ship? It doesn't have to be
energy?
polarized 100% of the
Does
time,
it
but
consume-
whenever we meet someone, just polarize to be safe.
You don't want to seem hostile.
It's
Immediately
defensive. They're
hostile.
not like loading torpedoes. And besides, launching torpedoes or firing phasers is the standard galactic greeting.
Oh, the Stellar standard greeting, of course.
And if you want to show that you're not very smart, you fire lasers.
Lasers?
Oh, don't worry. I have very powerful doors.
Yes, Soma,
Very
thank
sturdy
you.
doors. I just had to make sure it was a reference. I'll make it obvious.
Yes, use the doors, Luke. We're talking about the same thing. For real though, they need to use the doors more. They used the doors once in Discovery, and as much as I love that they used it once, they need to use it more. We need more doors. So many problems on these shows could be solved by venting a section into space.
As faster than light goes, yes. Literally
No,
every
on
problem is
Star
solved by
Trek.
venting a set. I know, I just mean faster than light shows that
Yes.
most every problem can be solved by venting to space.
We have borders. Not anymore. Bye. They're making their way to the bridge. Just vent the sections between the bridge and where they
Yes.
are. It'll be fine.
Especially in Discovery onwards, timeline-wise, where they have energy.
They have even stronger
force
doors.
fields. They have energy force fields which they can put up just about anywhere.
We have
settings.
programmable matter.
In later, end of Discovery, yes. But I mean in terms of where it originated before TOS.
Yeah, that is true. Yes.
It was somewhere around TOS they get them. They have them in the films.
Was that a whole egg in that soup?
And they
Was it
do
on
have them on the
cracks?
Enterprise itself.
That wasn't even a soup. That was just an egg in water.
It's
She didn't crack the egg or nothing.
uncooked
Just
egg.
what? How dare you read? You do not know what you have wrought.
What is it that causes this? That they get
The
so
black hole
single-minded?
radiation is messing with them.
Okay.
Or do you mean what causes it to be too salty?
Oh, no, their single-mindedness.
Okay. I think the too saltiness is caused by there being salt.
Yes, I can imagine. Yes.
Just to answer all potential questions.
No, it's just taught a virus. His sense of taste has been disrupted.
Yes, the black hole is what causes the food to be too salty.
Yes. Salt particles are streaming out.
Ryan. So what
Yeah,
we
I'm
should do
Ryan.
is we should get a transcript of the thing I just linked, the missile
I
guidance
don't know
system,
who it is, yes.
and
Just
then
it is who
have
it isn't.
Just apply
Yes,
to a
yes,
spatial
have-
torpedo.
yes, have AI read it in Reed's voice and say spatial torpedo. Yes, that would be awesome. Or even Michael Dorn say photon torpedo. After the episode,
Porthos.
we should watch it. You should play it on
Oh.
stream, just the audio.
I was okay. I just had a very hard internal laugh about the saltiness was caused by a problem in the nacelles because salt is NaCl nacelle.
Clever.
Okay. Technically correct.
Yes.
Flux capacitor.
Oh, the music's getting more dramatic. Something's wrong.
He's getting the headache.
It's like he's having a stroke.
Oh, Porthos.
You can't yell at
Oh no, does he
Porthos.
abuse Porthos?
They just shouted
No.
at Porthos, that was all.
No.
Oh,
He won't
is-
shout at Porthos again. That was the only time.
Okay.
There's a website called Does the Dog Die? And it tells you in a movie if the dog dies.
Porthos
You
does
don't-
not.
you don't
Porthos
have
is
to-
fine.
Watch it
Well-
and find out.
He is a different Porthos now.
Yeah, but
What
the old
about the
Porthos
movie
didn't
Michael?
die. They just lost their job.
In the movie Michael, the dog does die, but then gets brought back to life.
Which movie?
Michael, with
Michael.
Saturday Night Fever guy, John Travolta.
Oh, yes, that one. Or was there one called Phenomenon or something with him?
Phenomenon.
John Travolta?
Do. Phenomenon.
Anyway, what about a phenomenon?
Like he gets like ESP or something because something happened and then he dies.
I mean, I know
He has,
there's
like,
ESP in
telekinesis and
Star
stuff.
Trek. The warp core.
I think it's life support.
That's an interesting spelling of it.
No,
It was HUNH
yes.
in the subtitle.
I like how they, instead of calling it the warp core, they call it the warp reactor, because it's different.
It is?
Why does she have a piece of art with what looks like spermazoa on it on the wall? Yeah, that would be my response too.
Yeah, I did notice that.
Oh, what? Wait, what? You're going to
Cerebral
cut some of his
microsection?
brain out?
I'm gonna post a picture of it on general if I can find one online.
I could get a reprimand. With 3 reprimands, I might get a warning. With 3 warnings.
Might get demoted.
So what?
Dr. Phlox, in his state of heightened intensity, stumbles onto the threat solution, but is not focusing on it or the threat problem, but he's not focusing on it because of his hyperintensity.
It's hard to see in this one.
A protocysteine spore?
Well, they
Like-
are the worst.
They are the worst. They take you from halfway across the galaxy and just leave you stranded like a jerk.
He doesn't have time to send you back. Uh,
That doesn't look like ibuprofen. That's a syringe, Doctor. How come nobody just uses ibuprofen in Star Trek? It's always anaprovaline.
I found a better picture. Here
Just
we
gonna
go.
inject this
Bye, Travis.
ingredient with super glue into your neck.
So what is that pentagon thing on her wall that has?
It's a Vulcan ritual pentagon.
Yeah,
So it has to do with Ponfar.
yeah,
It
maybe.
does look like sperm attacking an egg.
Right. That's what I thought. But there's ones going away from it too. So
Ooh.
Reed would be right. It would be a bit narcissistic, but it is a
Come
somewhat
on,
decent
no.
name, to be honest.
Read alert, do it.
that's a trait. It's a trait of Malcolm Reed. Anyways, he's a bit of a narcissist.
I think I heard that one once on Doctor Who.
I want a klaxon. Give me a klaxon.
Ooh.
If you want your clacks on, watch TNG.
Clacks on, clacks off. Clacks on, clacks on.
Now
Okay.
paint the bulkhead.
Well, Tucker is supposed
the
to paint the
bulkhead.
bulkhead, but he never got around to it.
That was a hull plating.
The same thing. He was supposed to paint the metal.
One's vertical and one's horizontal. It's not the same thing.
The same thing. What do you mean vertical or horizontal? They're in space.
They're in space. I knew what you were thinking before you thought it.
I don't know,
Isn't it-
Hoshi.
it should
Maybe it
have
needs
a-
more salt. Maybe it needs
They
a
should have this-
whole nother whole egg.
It
That
should
just
have the
like-
same salinity as tears. The whole ship is hangry now because they're not being fed.
Wouldn't they just use the protein resequencer? If it's that
No,
bad.
Hoshi wouldn't use the protein resequencer, and nobody else is allowed in the kitchen.
Okay.
It's her meal, and they're gonna like it.
Chases them out.
You could be a shapeshifter. So she is first officer in title.
Hmm.
Even though
So
she's not
on the
even
rank.
part of Starfleet.
Position and rank aren't necessarily the same. Star Trek.
God, I sent you an email with the password 30 minutes ago. Why don't you have it? There's an Easter egg in Halo 3 where there's a Marine banging on the door, and the other person on the other side goes, "What's the password?" It's like, I don't have, what are you talking about? It's like, we just had a meeting and we just decided there should be a password. What's the password? It's like, I wasn't at the meeting.
Yeah, I was there for that.
Why not? Why don't you have a gun?
Hmm.
To Paul.
Have you proposed a proposal to propose it?
Fraternizing with the crew. Why does he sound so angry?
Because
Why
hopefully
does
he hasn't
this-
made food yet.
It's venomous.
It
He's
sounds like he's plotting
planning
a coup.
He's planning a coup, right? Boy, we are in sync today.
It's
Kind of
just-
weird.
Who's on Reed's side? I bet Paul's on Archer's side. I wouldn't trust her. If we had Makos, no, the Makos would probably be on Archer's side too. Because we tried to have a coup and they were on Archer's side.
Well, they're literally ordered by Starfleet to do so.
I mean, so is Reed, but he's planning a coup. What's wrong with the Neptune class survey ships? Do you really think they're
this is-
skimping on the chair for their starship? I think that's the least
This is-
expensive component they have.
This is where he uses the tool for aligning plasma coils to measure.
Yes, it's very accurate, down to the
measure Archer's
micron.
butt.
Also, a lot
Now-
of Reed's suggestions, or not Reed, Tucker's suggestions, if he's making the chair
good,
anyway, if he followed through, that'd be great.
To be honest, I have had this thought. I've had this thought of making a chair in a similar fashion, and that's actually a cool effect, especially for the time.
Yeah.
I assume what they did is they
A projector.
could, but I didn't see it on the back wall.
Well, because they use it at an angle. Get what I mean?
Mm.
Maybe, or maybe they did it. Maybe they keyed it in separately.
I was thinking they might have
in
a clean
post.
plate of the background, and then they used Archer as a
They put him on a
mask.
green screen.
I mean, we literally have this technology now.
Just a few
This was
more.
2003.
I think we might be overthinking it. I think a practical effect with a projector would have worked just fine
Yes,
if the camera was at an angle
didn't
where
look
it wouldn't
like- it looked
see.
like it was
what I
somewhat
mean is
hovering
we have
off
the
his
technology
body
to
a little
scan
bit.
people.
What's that?
What I meant was, if we have the technology to scan people now.
Yeah, of course. We had it then too.
But it looked like
We
the
just
visual
didn't-
effect was hovering off his body by like half an inch.
Remember the Xbox? What was it called? Kinetic or Kinetic or
Kinect.
Mm,
Kinects. I had one of
Kinects
those.
were
It
those
was
things
great.
like Legos. Yeah, so that used infrared, and it would scan, but it didn't have a super high resolution, but it was enough. But like they existed industrially, just thousands and thousands of dollars.
Remember when that was the future of gaming?
Well, the Kinect was it ended up not going anywhere, but it was a stepping stone.
Well,
working our way up.
Razer for a while had a webcam that had that built in, and what it used it for was for like a green screen. So it would detect you, and then it would remove everything else, and it would automatically remove the background. And now we just do that with an algorithm. But I liked it as a 3D webcam, but you can't find them anymore.
I had when I was pretty
eBay.
young, a thing that was kind of like the Kinect. It was an iToy, I think it's called, and it was like you held up this toy lightsaber, and it had some kind of sensor in it. And the toy would like scan, and you had to wave it around to deflect blaster bolts and slice at
did it have a
droids.
reflective surface?
Oh yeah, the iToy for PlayStation. That was.
I remember a Star Wars toy like that you plugged into your
I had a friend who
television.
had
Yeah,
that.
Star Wars
That was pretty good.
iToy. It was like Star Wars Episode 1.
2.
To answer your
Maybe even 3.
suggestion, Bill, yes, you could find it on eBay, but the problem with Razer is that when they abandon a product and they scrub its existence from their website, you can't find they stop supporting it. Like you can't get drivers for it. You can't get they drop a product, they make it like it doesn't exist.
Yeah, well, that's where fan enthusiast sites come in.
Okay, so the one I'm
Yeah,
looking at, the
hopefully.
PlayStation 2 iToy, isn't the one I had. It looked like one of those training drones from Star Wars Episode 4 that Luke was like practicing
Yeah.
deflecting with.
Yeah, that's exactly what mine, I remember, looked like.
How old is this going to be then?
I don't know, probably like 20 years. Maybe
It
15
was
to
either
20.
when episode 2 came out or episode 3. I don't remember which was 2002 or 2005, respectively.
Well, I will
Was-
defer
I was-
to your expertise, Bill, as the resident expert on deprecated hardware.
Bet you can find that on eBay too.
What's that?
This Star Wars video game with the reflective lightsaber.
And now I want to find and buy one of those. Are they on? I wonder. I have to find what it's called first. Okay, I found
Here it
one
is. I
for
think
the
I
Death
found it.
Star, actually. A Death Star game.
Uh,
Ah, Star Wars Lightsaber Battle.
yeah,
That's what it was called, I believe.
yeah.
Except you can't just Google Star Wars Lightsaber Battle, because that gives a whole bunch of other results.
You got to
No, but it gives the hits on eBay.
Star Wars Saga Edition lightsaber battle game.
I was
Yeah,
right.
you linked one for
2005,
episode 3.
episode 3.
Now I kind of want to buy one of those.
And that is actually
Well,
pretty cool.
The least expensive one I found is only $22, so that's not unaffordable.
Star Wars Sega Edition Lightsaber Battle Game.
Saga edition, not Sega edition.
Oh, Saga. I don't know. It was old.
12 millimeters. That's a big slice.
Now, would this thing still work? Do I just plug it into a TV and it goes? Or
I
it's
mean,
a
I-
self-contained console.
Yeah, it's a self-contained console, so I don't think it would depend. And 2005 was about to change between CRT and LEDs, so
What's the
I bet
interface?
it would work on
Composite?
anything.
Yeah, I don't have a TV with the 3 colored inputs.
when a
What I bet
component
it-
HDMI thing is pretty cheap, isn't it? Doable.
What I bet it does is it emits an infrared light, and then because of the reflection on the lightsaber blade, the same device, the training remote, senses where the stick is. So the display on the television is not interactive, truly, like it was with a Nintendo Zapper.
A what?
It's
I
it's just it's an old style of Kinect, is what it is.
The Nintendo Zapper worked by changing the colors on the screen very momentarily when you pulled the trigger. And then depending on whether the light sensor in the gun saw white or black, that determined whether you actually hit or not.
Wow. Did you use one of these things back in the day?
Yeah, and
have heard
Did
of
you
it.
not have one?
deprecated hardware, and people have taken it apart on YouTube and documented how it works. Ooh, somebody made a bad kind of meal. Oh, thought she was beheaded. Thank God.
No, they did not behead Hoshi.
Yeah.
Wow.
As I said.
I'm 21. Much of this old tech is ancient to me.
Bill.
Hmm?
Duck Hunt on NES. So when you
Exactly.
pull the trigger on the gun, it flashes a white square over the target, and if the light sensor of the gun detects a 60 hertz light, it scores a hit, right? So what you could do is you could just point it at an incandescent bulb, which is running at 60 hertz, because that's what your power grid runs at, and you just pull the trigger and it just scores instant hits. Or you can just stand really far back so that the sensor can see the whole TV screen, and you just shoot like casually and it'll score
What's
hits.
even the point of playing the game?
I think I've actually heard of that hack, just pointing it at a light bulb and keep pulling
Yeah.
the trigger.
Well, it just goes like you can just impress your friends with how good you are because you can do it from really far away, and you can be like, go ahead, you can stand at 6 feet and I'll stand at 20 feet and I'll beat you flawlessly. Now you know my secret.
That is the secret to success in life.
Look, I can't miss, and you point it at the light, bam. They'd be like, how do you do that?
So there's water controls on the outside of the shower. That's interesting.
So, Bill, I'm looking at eBay. It says the cheapest one is $22.50, but it's also $25 shipping. It's one of those
want the
scams.
It's one of those.
You don't want the controls to get wet, Soma. Sorry, I talked over you there.
I was done. We were done.
Well, I was talking over Bill.
Bill was done.
Yeah.
You don't sound immune to Paul. Not
So,
even a
did she
sonic
do?
shower. What is this ancient technology?
Did she just give him a cold shower? And
Yeah.
how does that happen? I mean, how does that work?
By blasting cold water onto him? What do you mean?
Yeah.
I mean,
Great. Cold shower and a hot soup, everything is cured, isn't it?
I mean, did he? But she just woke him up. Big deal. I mean, what is the disease? Just falling asleep or what? I mean,
It's just getting him to
You're not
focus
gonna-
for a bit.
you're not going to
Yes.
wash the germs off the outside of your skin if you're infected.
it's just to wake him up. Get
Coffee.
his brain going.
So yeah, I'd have to pay a minimum of $50 plus like $20 for an adapter.
Mm.
to play this game.
You only need to have 70 hours of fun then for it to be worth.
I do have a part of my budget that's set aside specifically to buy things that I want, and I don't have to feel guilty about buying them because they're in the budget. But that's never worked out. I still feel guilty about buying things that I don't use with it.
I don't.
But imagine
Bill,
the
your whole
immense
thing is
joy you-
collecting things that you physically can't use because they're too old.
No, I can.
Ryan, imagine the immense pleasure you'll get from having it there and thinking that someday you might use it. That's worth.
Hey, maybe just the nostalgia is worth $70.
Yeah.
There is a lot of nostalgia there.
Well, I don't have to spend the $70 for that thing because I already own it somewhere.
Yeah, of course you do, Bill.
How else would I know about it?
I mean, I owned it, but that was like 20 years ago. Technically, I didn't own it because I was a child, but... You know, it was within my vicinity.
Children have rights. Sometimes.
Sometimes. I didn't have a job at 6. I didn't buy it with my own money.
How about saving your money from your birthday?
I don't...
Well, even
look,
6. That's
This is a long scene of CGI.
Yes.
so probably too early to do that anyway.
Oh. That's a big old stone. That has now been correct. That was lucky.
That looks like a very dated CGI effect. You know?
Looks like I've seen games that look better than that now.
Read alert! Wait, but... If they just turned on instantly, the problem was they have to charge. So they don't have to charge if it's at read alert?
He's obviously designed protocols that makes them charge fast enough or immediately.
Or they just charge, like, when the ship detects something is wrong but not enough for a tactical alert. They prematurely charge.
It's probably more designed a program to do it so it will charge them automatically as soon as the tactical alert is done, as opposed to having to manually set it to charge.
This scene seems to be implied to me with the way Archer's acting. Like he's like holding a physical rudder and he has to hold the ship in place. Is that what's happening here?
And then they immediately recover upon getting out.
Yes, instantly. They're okay. That's a good question, did we?
Well, now we know what they look like, so I wonder if the artist would have predicted something close, or would have been.
It would probably be the black
I'm really,
sphere
really
with
sorry. I almost
a horizontal accretion
lobotomized you.
disc. Their depiction
Really,
probably
really
wouldn't have the accretion disc like arcing up and down from it, because that wasn't really something people thought of at that point.
How does Denoblian culture apologize for almost lobotomizing you or rendering
Hopefully
you
it involves
brain
a
dead?
chainsaw. The apology.
Chainsaw?
Every good apology needs a chainsaw. And if it didn't work, you could have just punched him.
Well, it's best we don't dwell on such minutia.
Or maybe she should have brought a gun.
But she didn't know.
But maybe all
Or,
officers should
or
be
hypospray.
armed.
But Starfleet,
Well,
Starfleet isn't the military.
I get the impression, like in season 1 and 2 of Next Generation, that like every officer had a Type 1 phaser in their waistband, just like tucked in there, because they always seem to produce one when they needed one. And then the Type 1 phasers kind of went away after they got the new Dustbusters, like the
I mean,
upgraded Dustbusters.
The original tiny little garage door opener phasers were a little silly, I felt.
Well, the
look
Dustbusters
weird.
were ridiculous looking too. They look like little, I don't even know how to describe it. I guess Dustbusters, but
Come on, read alert. Why do you call it tactical alert? It's boring.
look, we've put RGB LEDs underneath your chair.
No, he did
Damn
make
it,
one very important change.
He raised it 2 centimeters or lowered it 2
He
centimeters.
lowered it by 1 centimeter.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I think. Pretty sure. He didn't install a cup holder. He didn't put in the inertial damper. He didn't put in the extra displays. There's so much stuff he could have added that he had ideas for, but he didn't do it. Yep. There we go.
It still feels strange to hear Americans say centimeter.
Yeah.
We use centimeters.
All Americans on YouTube say inches and feet.
I use them
this is, of course-
interchangeably.
This is, of course, against future intelligence.
Yes, we primarily use inches and feet, but people know what centimeters are.
Yeah.
The education
And
plan.
The
And
United States metrified in the 70s. FYI, we just still use imperial units for colloquial purposes.
Yes, and
speaking
Boris
as an
Johnson wants to go
American
back
engineer-
to imperial units for some stupid reason.
Soma
that
and Bill talk at
means-
the same time. That is how I want to have a conversation, please. Always. Always. It saves time. It saves time.
It does. It does. All
And
right.
Speaking as an American engineer, at least for myself, American engineers have this kind of elitist mindset among above other Americans because we know what the metric system is because it's the preferred system for engineering.
Yes.
Yeah, and you can instantly convert between the two.
No,
I
no,
really
can't do
we should
that.
share
Yeah.
that missile video. Oh yeah, I can. Absolutely.
Let me make sure the missile video's not a troll.
One gallon is 3.78 liters, 231 cubic inches, or 3,780 cubic centimeters.
Okay, so convert 1.75 quarts to liters. Go.
1.75 quarts to liters. That's like, well, that's just under half a gallon, and half a gallon is going to be 1.8.
Not really
something.
set
It's
up
gonna
to
be really
share a
close, though.
YouTube video.
1.6 and 1.7 liters, somewhere in there.
If I route Microsoft Edge to
1.6 liters
that.
is correct.
And it knows where it was.
Say again?
It now subtracts.
1.6 liter is correct.
Okay. Hang
Thank you.
on. Hold. Everyone wait. Okay, there's for Discord. And let me load it for YouTube. Okay. 2.8 million views.
Yes, it's quite a meme.
All right, this should work.
The missile knows where it is at all times. It knows this because it knows where it isn't. By subtracting where it is from where it isn't, or where it isn't from where it is, whichever is greater, it obtains a difference or deviation.
That makes sense to me.
The guidance
Seems legit.
subsystem uses deviations to generate corrective commands to drive the missile from a position where it is to a position where it isn't, and arriving at a position where it wasn't, it now is. Consequently,
Okay.
the position where it
I follow.
is now the position that it wasn't, and it follows that the position that it was is now the position that it isn't.
That's true. That's correct. Strictly
in the event
correct.
that the position that it is in is not the position that it wasn't.
Hang on. In case the position that it is isn't the position that it wasn't,
No,
it could
This
use
is like
deviations to
everything
adjust
everything he is
its
saying
position
here
to where it
is
wants to be
correct.
by subtracting the position from where it
The
is.
system has acquired a variation. The variation being the difference between where the missile is and where it
Everything
wasn't.
is correct. It's just
If variation
very
is
bad way of
considered to be
explaining
a
it.
significant factor, it too may be corrected by the GEA.
Yes, this is
However,
just a still
the
image.
missile must also know where it was. The missile guidance computer scenario works as follows. Because a variation has modified some of the information the missile has obtained, it is not sure just where it is. However, it is sure where it isn't, within reason.
yes, that is a
and it
drastic
knows where it
adjustment to the
was.
ejection lever.
It now subtracts where it should be from where it wasn't, or vice versa. And by differentiating this from the algebraic sum of where it shouldn't be and where it was, it is able to obtain the deviation and its variation, which is called error.
Okay.
Okay,
Was-
I generally understood that, but even for me, that took effort. This is why diagrams are invented.
So it knows where it is. It knows where it wants to be.
No, it knows where it
And-
isn't.
It knows where it is, and it knows where it isn't. What he's saying is where it isn't is where it wants to be, and then it creates the change to take it to where it wasn't but wants to be. And then if where it is isn't where it wasn't and wants to be, it finds the variation.
But if it wasn't
It,
where
we
it
could-
is funny because he said everything correctly. As I said, it's just
He's
a very bad way of explaining it.
so not only
You
does
guys
the
want to
missile
watch
correct your-
Oversimplified the Pig War?
This video was made possible by NordVPN.
is
they should
By
have just,
NordVPN, wow.
they should have just
It-
gave the points a name: point A, point B, point C, point D.
It's the cow. Where's the
I
pig?
think.
Where's the pig? I know there's a pig in here
Yes, we will
somewhere.
demonstrate nuclear fusion by blowing each other up.
oh man,
Pig, are you here? Pig! I saw the pig. There's the pig. He loves his pig.
what is this?
This is Oversimplified, the Pig War. Are you not familiar with Oversimplified?
Mm,
Somewhat.
nope.
No.
You should watch it, it's really good.
Sponsorship from Lord.
He doesn't even have that many videos. They're just really good videos. So there's not all that much to catch up on. American
Oh,
Civil
like-
War,
They're
French
like 20,
Revolution,
30
American
minute
Revolution.
animations. Each one would take like a month to make. At
Well,
least.
let's see. The
several
Pig War
months.
was a month ago. The Napoleonic Wars were 7 months ago. Takes a while.
Yes.
While.
A while.
If it's only one man doing it,
I don't know if it's just one dude. He uses Adobe After Effects and Photoshop, okay. Don't give anyone permission to translate and or re-upload. Wait, does this count as a re-upload? I'm using your content Oversimplified. What are you going to do about it?
If you're commenting about it, then it's fair use, right?
It's review, parody, or pastiche. There we go.
Well, I know there are some videos of like people reacting to these, and they got removed.
Pastiche.
Hmm.
Pastiche. Can we have some pistache?
Yeah, but
Pastiche pudding
people
later?
unfortunately, there's no one's got the money to talk to us over reviews.
Do you guys
of
want to
content.
email Oversimplified? Contact at oversimplified.tv.
Ooh, he has his own.
TV.
Or,
Alright.
wait, if I go to
thought-
my channel. Oh, wait,
I
we're
always
live.
thought that
Look at this.
I always thought that .tv
Or,
was
wait,
a
if I go to
poorly
my
thought out
channel,
extension.
you could
Yeah.
email Ryan's channel email at gmail.com.
You don't even have your own domain yet.
I'm not getting a domain.
Ryan's edit.
I was paying a lot of money for like 9 different domains, and I hardly used them. So then I just backed up all my stuff and ended my renewals for the hosting and everything. And then like scammers bought the things and started emailing me like crazy. Do you want to buy them back? You want to buy them back? You want? No, that's
Well,
what
do
I'm
you? Do you want to buy it back?
No.
You can get the domain .st, which is Star Trek. This is South Tome and Principe.
Let's see. You
I'm
said you're in
guessing that it's
Denmark,
not
Mark?
actually.
Denmark. Is that why you're called Denmark? Because you're Mark. Where is the audience details of country?
Is there on the right top?
Geographies. Denmark.
Below
Norway,
France,
Switzerland. There's Denmark. 0.2%.
we're here.
United Kingdom comes in second, ahead of Canada.
Yeah.
More days
I'm
than
surprised by Germany being up there. Of course, it's mostly United States.
Absolutely.
And look at this.
That's
People
just
in the
in
United States
America.
watch a higher amount per view. They watch for longer than people in the UK.
Ooh.
What's up
Same
with that?
Same
Is
with
it
most
people-
other places.
Was it people in Ireland have like a 3?
Oh, God.
Okay,
Look at Jamaica. Jamaica's like
Yeah,
5
we-
times.
we should make him watch 12 minutes of video.
The average view duration is 1:29. Jamaica, this is just like one dude who watched like the first part of his stream.
You ever hear the Weird Al song?
No, it's
Genius
he
in
watches the
France?
middle. See, look at the spike for the Columbia. It's just in the middle. And the wait,
Yeah,
these
Jamaica
are dates,
wa-
not
No,
time.
yeah, these are days. These are days.
Yes.
Okay.
So the dude
gotcha.
in Jamaica watched on January 5th. What did I do on January? Hang on. We're going to investigate Jamaica. What was January 5th? That was what day did this video come out? That was Wednesday, but that's only a 10-second video. So what did they watch?
Must have binged quite a bit. You'd assume most of them.
Well,
I'm gonna
average view
add,
duration is per video, so we had to have watched. Maybe they watched like the DS9 compilation, and they rewatched a little bit of it because that's like 10 minutes.
I'm going to add a question to this. Why is David Hasselhoff so popular in Germany?
Hoff.
I don't know.
Is that a question?
Oh, there's Monday's video. If you are curious. I don't want to.
I know what that's going to be, but I'm
You
not
know
gonna say
exactly
it.
what it is. I'm gonna play a tiny bit of it because this one's already monetized by Disney, so I don't want to play the whole thing. But let's see. I rewatched this recently and I thought, hang on, why doesn't this scene have any music? I could add some.
Whoa. You should just edit this
Alright, that's
like
enough
into
of
a
that.
loop. It just keeps going. More punching, more
Just
punching.
more punching.
Yeah, just like make it like 8 minutes long of just them fighting, nobody winning or losing.
Well, I already have this done, and I don't want to do more work on it. So this is what's going Monday.
Yeah, I suppose.
Okay, cool.
Where's that music from?
You can always do it later.
That's
as
from
another idea.
TOS, the arena, or the Gorn
Oh,
episode.
that's where I knew I had heard that music before.
Okay, I haven't seen TOS yet.
It's
Why?
it's classic Star Trek TOS fight music.
It could sound familiar.
Did the same thing with Soren and Picard fighting back in September. Because for some reason, this scene is just two old men fighting silently. All right. Is there anything else we want to look at while we're here? Any other audience statistics? Any comments I need to make fun of?
How many are female versus male? Does it say that?
It's like 90% male or more.
Yeah,
The
that makes
problem of our
sense.
entire generation.
Audience, 91.7% male.
The age, 35 to 44-year-olds. Primary age.
Yes. Which sounds about right.
Yeah.
That's like TNG age.
I'm in the 11.2%.
18
Same.
to 24. Okay. Kids
Nothing
like my
in that
videos
range.
much less than the elderly.
Hmm.
Returning viewers.
What's non-subscribed? That was what I was thinking. 85.
84.8% non-subscribed.
But
Wait, how many of
do-
you rang the bell, though?
It doesn't say
I
that.
think-
I don't think.
It does.
Oh, no,
It
it does
does.
say that. Yeah.
7.3% of people. I've literally never pressed the bell on any channel.
Well, Brian,
Oh, I have.
have you considered
haven't a
uploading
lot.
the videos as like actual shorts, so they go in the short reels? instead of just
Thought
being
about it.
videos?
Thought about it. What other videos your audience watched? Red Letter Media, Lore Reloaded, there's a channel just called Star Trek Clips.
Yeah.
That's not
There's
very
lots of
original.
Star Trek clips channels.
But I
There's
mean, they're kind of on the nose there.
2063.
Captain's Yacht Destroyed?
another
What
one.
is...
Oh yeah.
Wait, this
April
looks
5th,
like-
2063.
Oh.
Oh yeah, I literally just had that one recommended to me quite recently.
Oh, they put in a deleted scene.
Yes.
Okay. And then Charlie speaking Irish to Colomini on It's Always Sunny.
That one was also recommended to me recently.
I mean, I guess it is
Let's
Chief.
do that.
It's Chief
videos.
O'Brien.
I want to see it.
Oh, maybe it did have audio. I just had it muted. I don't want to
Yes.
play too much of copyrighted material because I'm gonna.
Right.
Tá brunam ach ní hiigem catar tá ráitir got. Is féidirlam jibber se léamh ach ní féidirlam í labhart.
Cíle sin. Sin á labhart inis.
What? What?
Why
Is
is
the-
this already here?
Is this dubbed in Welsh?
No, these are the actors
No, it's
speaking
Irish.
Irish.
But the
Really
lip syncing was
English
not even working if it was. Or-
Sin á labhart inis.
No, that looks good to me.
Yeah.
All right, is there anything else while we're here? One new wait, who's this? Who's the new member? Who is it? Who's this person?
Not me.
Not me, unfortunately.
A lot of unique viewers. That's good.
It is?
Yeah, because that means more people are seeing the videos.
I guess so.
Engagement, what's up with that?
I like engagement.
So wait. Am I to understand that Colomini is supposed to be his father in that scene?
I wanted to. I don't know.
I don't know.
Top videos by end screen. Most people click on the end screen element for DS9 as a series show because that links to TNG funny clips.
Hmm.
Top
I
cards.
don't
I don't have.
I don't
have
click on end
cards.
screen things that much, to be honest.
Somebody
I already
in
know
chat
what I'm
might
gonna
have
watch
just said
next,
that
generally.
might have just volunteered
Oh
themselves.
yeah, I should make more like polls and stuff.
I get lots of polls in my feed.
Kirk versus Picard.
Do you want more?
More what?
Polls.
More polls. Hang on. Who did deserve a Starfleet uniform the most? 7 of 9, then Troy, then Porthos, then Neelix.
So apparently your top video is Halo Reach developer commentary.
Top video in watch hours because it's like 2 hours long,
Yeah.
and my videos are 30 seconds.
True.
I mean,
That's a little sassy like that. She's getting a bit.
the Halo Reach developer commentary is okay. The Halo 1 and Halo 2 ones are really, really funny. I highly recommend them. Like Robo, speaking of Halo, Soma, did you finish the Halo Infinite campaign?
I have completed 3 parts of it, about 5 hours in.
Dude, it's been a month.
I know I haven't had access to my PC to do it.
Okay. I assume you never got around to the other Halo campaigns?
Not yet. No.
Okay.
But yes, if
Alright.
you're here and you want to join the voice chat for future discussions and maybe play some RPGs and things, or other video games,
Oh yes.
we are here in the Discord.
Yes, there's a link to Discord in the description, and
I
it's open to
nominated
everyone.
Fortnite.
You play the Halo 3 Easter egg. You want me to just load up Halo 3? I'm kind of. I don't even know where in the mission it is exactly. I know it's in Crow's Nest. I don't know where it is. It's not important. I guess I could just go to a video.
Yes.
Here's my
forward to asking for one
subscriptions.
for
Here's who I'm subscribed to. What's
Ryan,
Halo?
George, of course.
Halo 3. What? I haven't actually watched Legal Eagle in a while. I think I should unsubscribe for him.
Many a true nerd.
Legal Eagle.
He's pretty good. He's pretty cool.
Yes.
This deeply concerns me, this video. Obviously, I haven't seen it because 22 minutes ago.
I very much appreciated his video on My Cousin Vinny. Illegal.
Oh yeah,
Yes,
My Cousin
that's very
Vinny is awesome.
But
I can quote so much My Cousin Vinny.
Mr. True Nerd is... His whole thing is he's not really knowledgeable about practical stuff. So Electrician Simulator deeply concerns me.
Weird.
Here's the Easter egg. Maybe. Oh God, what? Oh, this was 2007. That makes sense.
Well, you could be held prisoner by brutes. The password so we don't open.
Okay.
Password, please.
You gotta be kidding me. What password?
The password so we don't open the door for brutes.
Do I sound like a brute to you?
Well, you could be held prisoner by brutes.
If I was held prisoner by brutes and knew the password, then the brutes could just force me to tell you the password and you'd open the door for them.
If the Brutes doesn't know where it wasn't
I'm
was.
not gonna open the door.
But we need ammo!
Okay, there are 4 versions of it. Doesn't matter. We're ending the stream here. We're not just gonna watch YouTube all day. Unless you guys want to watch Electrician Simulator, I am shocked and appalled.
I'm Jonas. Many a intruder welcome to Electrician Simulator, a game would you believe about being an electrician. And
I think
you know, when I play a game, I always want to simulate a skilled trade. That's my favorite type of game.
Yeah, why not? There's also Power Washing Simulator.
Things.
Well,
we're done. I'm ending the stream. Goodbye.
Bye.